And welcome to D-Dogs in downtown Riverside for another edition of the HS Game Time Live Blitz. I'm Pep Fernandez, and this, the big ticket, KG, Kyle Glazer. Kyle, nice to have you here.
Good to be here, Pep.
D-Dogs, we've been here before. What did you think of the first time we came here?
Great spot. That's why we're back again.
Great food, gourmet hot dogs. Kyle likes the chicken sandwiches, right?
And I got a burger last time. Solid for sure.
Burgers, gourmet hot dogs, chicken sandwiches. They've got onion rings. They've got all kinds of stuff. So please, if you've got nothing to do, come on down, join us, or you can watch online at home. That's just as well. We've got tons of games on here at D-Dog, so we're having a great time. We're going to talk high school football as we go into week 2, Kyle, of the high school season, and some great matchups already out of the gate. And let's start with the big one, Marietta Valley and Roosevelt.
You know, Pep, I got to say, I think so far through the first 3 weeks of football, if you count week 0, this is the best local matchup that's taken place. Both teams are 2-0. Two of the better coaches in the Inland Empire, not just the Inland area, but the Inland Empire period. And Vinny Fazio and Tony Burrill are going to be going at it. This is the marquee game, and if I was a football fan in the area, if I had one game to go to, it'd be this one for sure.
Now, Roosevelt plays in the Big 8 and Marietta Valley in the Southwestern League. We love it when these two powerhouse leagues come together, both 2-0. Marietta Valley with Vinny Fazio playing that stingy defense and mixing in some offense as well. And then Tony Burrill wants to turn Roosevelt into what Centennial is right now. I mean, Centennial's like the class act in the Inland Empire along with Vista Marietta.
Well, in Roosevelt, they've looked very good the first 2 weeks. They've defeated 2 top 60 opponents as ranked in the state preseason rankings. And had a very balanced offense. Joseph Muriel, their quarterback, is having a great year, 67% completion percentage, 9 touchdowns to only 2 picks. The team, they're running an average of 5.5 yards a carry. 3 receivers already have over 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. So it's a very balanced team offensively. Marietta Valley is going to have their hands full, but the Nighthawks are a very talented team as well. I can see this one going either way.
Now, another game that maybe has state implications is Centennial taking on Long Beach Poly, and we saw what Centennial did last week in that head-to-head showdown with St. Bonaventure. When you talk Centennial, you got to talk their offense, and they piled up the yards and the points last week.
You know, everyone knows Centennial's offense is going to be loaded and productive every year, but 886 yards of offense, 69 points, going over 60 for the second straight week, and they're not exactly playing patsies here. St. Bonnie's is one of the top teams in the state. Liberty from Nevada was a good team as well. If Centennial can do that against those two teams, there's no reason they can't put up 60 against Poly, which, don't get me wrong, is very talented. But are they any more talented than St. Bonnie's? Not necessarily. They're on the same level. It's going to be interesting to see if Centennial can keep this up over 14 games when you take into account playoffs and state playoffs. I mean, we could be looking at a record-breaking offense, and considering how prolific some of Centennial's offenses have been in the past, that's saying something.
Now, if they can just play a little bit of defense, then they're going to play, they're going to be continuing. I mean, if they get into a shootout, I think more times than not, Centennial is going to outshoot the team they're playing with all those offensive weapons. We saw Trey Watson go for nearly 500 yards. I think it was 7 touchdowns against a team.
Video game numbers. That's what it was. Video game numbers.
Like, fantasy football, dream player, but if they can play some defense and maybe get some crucial stops, I mean, I don't know if there's a team that could beat them out there.
Probably not. That's the one thing that's a little concerning. Some of the points were scored against their second stringers, but you look at St. Bonnie's stats last week. Ricky Town threw 5 touchdown passes. The quarterback headed to Alabama. Their running back had over 230 yards and 4 touchdowns. So Centennial is giving up some yards. If they can limit that, this could be arguably the best team in Inland Empire history. And once again, Centennial has had some amazing teams before. That would be saying something.
Now, poor St. Bonnie, they play Centennial, they get blown out, and I guess because Centennial did have that lead in Long Beach Poly.
It was 55-28 at one point.
Yeah, they made it a little bit closer, but St. Bonnie now gets another one of the finest in the Inland Empire, Redlands East Valley, who looked very impressive against Summit in their opener, 50-zip, and we know Rev's big. They're going to play stingy defense, and it looks like they've got a running game and a great quarterback to go with it now.
Last year, St. Bonaventure only beat Redlands East Valley 18-7. It wasn't a blowout by any stretch of the imagination. Rev, Coach Kurt Bruick has said on multiple occasions he feels this is his best offense since 2006. If Redlands East Valley can generate a little more offense this year, and they look good against Summit, but once again, there's a big gap between Summit and St. Bonaventure. Rev outgained them 471-60. They're going to be challenged to match either of those numbers again this week, but if they can hold the very good St. Bonaventure offense, even to 350 total yards, that'll be impressive. And offensively, if they can also get around that figure, that'll tell us that Redlands East Valley, if they do that, I think they'll be in the game. If they can go for 300 plus that they gain and hold St. Bonnie's to around 300, they'll be in good shape.
Should be a great game. Another CBL team that has a big game is Yucaipa, and we've talked to the Thunderbirds. They wanted this matchup with Vista Murrieta. They want to kind of see where that bar has been set for their team. They're very good, but when you're talking about Vista Murrieta, it's kind of like be careful what you wish for, because there's Vista Murrieta and Centennial, and there's a lot of other great teams, and I think Yucaipa falls in there. They're a very good team out there, but Vista Murrieta is just a juggernaut right now.
They're on another level, and I think Yucaipa, they'll see the difference. They played Chaffee and Highland in their first two games. Vista Murrieta is worlds above those two teams, but this is what an up-and-coming program wants to do. They want to schedule these tough teams, see where the bar's been set. Vista Murrieta and Redlands East Valley have played last year. Some of the Citrus Belt League teams have matched up with Big 8 teams, but Yucaipa really hasn't had a chance to go after Vista Murrieta. Now they're going to see, even if they lose, 59-14, they'll know where they need to go, and I think that'll be good for them as a program in the long run.
Yes, I completely agree. They've got some offensive weapons. I know in that opener against Chaffee that Brandon Scott left the game for precautionary reasons.
And he missed all last game
against,
as well against Highland. He's expected to be back, so that's obviously a great weapon to have a D1 receiver that caliber. On the flip side, Keyshawn Holmes is expected to play for Vista Murrieta as well, so each team is getting themselves a Division I caliber player they didn't have last week due to injury.
Yeah, what's interesting is we knew Vista Murrieta was good. It's like, how good would they be when they added all these, I guess you call them all-stars from Norco, led by Colton Gerhardt, and we saw them last week against Downey, and they were just impressive. If there's a team out there that will challenge Centennial, and you'll see right now in our top 10 voting that Centennial and Vista Murrieta are going 1-2, because they're clearly right now the cream of the crop when it comes to inland area teams.
And as you mentioned, it's really those two teams, and then there's a big gap. There's a lot of other good teams out there, but those are two of the top teams, not just in the state, but in the country. There's a lot of Division I talent. They're well coached. They're proven programs, and they're headed for an Inland Division championship game clash once again. I really don't see a scenario in which another team can step up and take either of those two teams out.
Now, if you can see the top 10 right here, we had Murrieta Valley and Heritage climbing. Heritage number 3 right now after Rancho Verde lost to Tesoro. So that Tesoro loss kind of dropped the Rancho Verde a little bit. But Roosevelt and Paloma Valley cracking the top 10. They're making an appearance now. Roosevelt at number 9 and Paloma Valley at number 10. So it's going to take some help to challenge or knock off Vista Murrieta and Centennial, I guess, for those 1 and 2 spots.
Absolutely. Once again, it's theirs to lose. I don't expect them to lose it, but that 3 through 7 range we've talked about a little bit. It's very wide open. It's going to be interesting to see how that shakes out over the course of the year. We have Heritage this week. It could very well be a different team next week. Just have to see how it all plays out.
All right, Javier Cabrera, our guy behind the scenes, is getting Riverside Poly head coach Dennis Brown. Come on over, coach, and take a seat right here. We're going to talk about their Thursday night special as they're taking on Rubidoux, and they're coming off that big win in the Solar Series, knocking off Ramona. Coach Brown, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on that season-opening victory against Ramona. And talk about going head-to-head with Rubidoux on a Thursday night.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Coach McMains does a great job over there, and they run a different offense with the option, and so they're going to create problems for us. So we're looking forward to the challenge and another opportunity for us to go out and get better and hopefully come away with the win.
Now, Coach, you were a long-time assistant, I believe, 23 years in the area. This is your first shot as a head coach. 2 weeks in, how are you liking it so far?
Yeah, it's going good. We have a great group of kids. They play hard, getting better every week. So hopefully we can continue that trend and keep improving, getting ready for league play.
We're joined by Riverside Poly head coach Dennis Brown. And Javier, if you want to swing the camera around, get a shot of the guys. And we've also got Redlands standing by. They're going to join us on the show in just a little bit, but we're still talking with Coach Brown here. And were you pleased with that win against Ramona? I mean, that's a big rivalry game for you guys, and you came out strong, it looked like.
Sure. Any win is a good win, so we'll take them all. Obviously, we made mistakes. They made some mistakes. We were able to capitalize on maybe a few more than they did, so we came away with the victory. So a lot of things that we can clean up and
But what did
better
you like? Was there something that stood out for you guys that you said, "Wow, man, we're going to do that really well this season"?
I just think that we kept battling. I mean, we didn't give up. We kept fighting. We saw that in the first game, even though it was a loss to Citrus Hill. We didn't quit. We kept coming after them and kept fighting, and we continue to do that against Ramona. So hopefully that's the thing that we're excited about as coaches, and the players are looking forward to another opportunity this week.
All right, Kyle,
Coach,
you ask a question or two. I'm going to go over here with the players, but go ahead and talk to Coach Brown for a second.
Devontre Hill and David Swamwelu have been a great 1-2 punch for you running the ball. Talk about them and how they've combined arguably the top 1-2 punch in the inland area so far.
Yeah, they're both excellent kids. Devontrae's here tonight, so we brought him. But they both different styles a little bit. They both do a little bit of punishing running. David probably a little more. Devontrae's elusive, good out of the backfield, catches the ball well. So they've just, they'll continue to get better, and that's the encouraging thing. So.
Hey, Kyle, let's swing it over here. Great job, Javier. We got a couple of the Riverside Poly players, Ben and Devontre, number 9 over here. We are live at D-Dogs, gourmet hot dogs, hamburgers, chicken sandwiches. They got it all. They've got all the games on, so please join us down here. We'll be going strong for probably another 30, 45 minutes, but we want to talk to the Riverside Poly Bears. Big win against Ramona in a big rivalry game. Now you guys have Rubidoux in a Thursday night game. First off with you, Ben, just talk about the game against Rubidoux. What are the keys to getting a win?
Just working together as a unit, playing our keys, and just working together as a team to just hold everything down.
And Devontre Hill, I mean, we thought you were number 4. I guess there was a last-second switch. Now you're number 9, so now everyone knows the guy going into the end zone is number 9, Devontre Hill. So just talk about the game with Rubidoux. What are the keys to victory in that one?
We just want to execute and have everybody on the same page, offensive-wise and defensive-wise, and just play poly football.
Now, in terms of the Inland Valley League, guys, I mean, you guys look strong against Ramona. Do you think this is a Bears team that can compete with the upper echelon teams, the Rancho Verde, North, Arlington? Do you feel like this is a Poly team that's ready to compete, Ben?
I feel like we're a good team. We're ready. We're gonna go in there, compete. We're gonna play. We're gonna play football. We practice hard. We work hard. We've all been working hard, and there's a stronger bond. We've been coming together as like I said, a unit. This is one.
You too, Devontre. You feel like this is a pretty good team?
Yeah, I'm really confident with this year's team because just the way our off-season program went, we all went hard. We're fully committed now. And we got this team chemistry, and we're together like a family, one unit. So yeah, I think we're going to be pretty good in the Inland Valley League.
All right, the rest of the Inland Valley League better watch out. Riverside Poly is looking very good. Kyle, let's go back to you and Coach Brown over there as we size up their Week 2 matchup with Rubidoux.
Yeah, Coach, another sort of city rivalry. Rubidoux's right here. What are you going to be looking for out of your team this week?
Well, we're looking to execute, for 4 quarters. We haven't done that yet. We've made mistakes in both the first 2 games, and so we're looking to try to clean those things up, continue to get better, to continue to grow as a team. And look to, obviously come out with a victory.
And Coach, one final question. Poly football hasn't had a ton of success in recent years. What are your goals for this program? I mean, how far do you think you can build it up?
Well, we want to be one of those teams that everybody talks about, and Poly was that team, back in the late 80s. And so, we're trying to bring back that history, We have a lot of the ex-players from those years, like Mark Green and Randy Horde, and some of those guys that have been in town that continue to come around to try to help these guys understand the significance of Poly football and how good it was and how good it can be, and that's what we're trying to do is restore that.
Hey, Coach, I got one more question. I heard when you first took the job that part of revamping the program, you were doing everything. I heard you were vacuuming and redoing the locker room. I mean, you really got your hands dirty, right?
Right, absolutely. And I think that's what's crucial for the kids to understand is, we're all part of it. It's not just we want them to do things, we're going to do it, and we want everybody to pitch in and be a part of it, and that's the only way we're going to get this thing turned around. So everybody's got to do a part.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, Coach, for joining us. Really appreciate it, and best
Coach
of luck
Brown,
on
you're the
Friday.
best. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, all right. Well, there
Good
we
to have Riverside Poly in the house. They're off to a great start, looking good. We talked to some of the guys, and they said they're ready to challenge in the Inland Valley League. But the Rancho Verde is still that team to beat.
You know what? But this is going to be a multiple-year process. I think for any team to climb in the Inland Valley League, you can't focus on we want Rancho Verde right now. It's going to take a couple years to build up to that and have a couple things go your way. Programs like that don't just finish in second or third place overnight. Poly, I think they have the coaching staff. They have the kids. We've seen success in other sports, so they have athletes on campus. It's just going to take time as Coach Brown and his staff build this program up. But just off the little bit we've seen, I've definitely been impressed. And I think that, with 2 or 3 good years, a couple breaks, there's a chance Poly could get back to its former glory. There's no question in my mind that it can happen.
I'm excited to see Coach Brown take on the school that he was last at, North High. I mean, that's a league game, so he was the AD at North before going over to Riverside Poly as the head football coach. Speaking of coaches, Don Markham back in the game. He is at Pacific. He's taking on Paris this Friday. Good shot for him to pick up a win for the Pirates.
It's a really good shot. Pacific and Paris have been 2 of the lowest winning programs in the Inland Empire over the last 2 years. Each could really use this game. Pacific needs to get off to that good start under Don Markham. They got blown out 63-6 last week. It wasn't good at all. They have a chance to win this, and they have a couple of other winnable games. Vista del Lago's on this schedule. San Bernardino's on this schedule. But I feel like if they don't beat Paris, that can really shoot their confidence, and it could be a 1-9, 0-10 year. If they beat Paris, that gives them some momentum going. And I remember looking at that schedule and thinking there's 3 or 4 wins there if things go right for them. So they need this. And then Paris as well. They have San Bernardino on the schedule later, so this isn't their only chance to win a game. But playing in the tough Sun Belt League, you got to win as many of your non-league games as you can.
Heritage, Paloma Valley, Elsinore.
Exactly. Just they haven't won more than 3 games in a year in a very long time. They're already 0-2. They need to get this first one.
And the Patriot coaches, after defeating Paris last week, they gave them credit. I mean, this is a Paris team that's scrappy. They fought, and Markham's going to bring out the best in the guys that he has. I mean, everywhere he's been a winner. So turnaround doesn't happen overnight, as we talked about. So Markham looking to make some strides as they take on Paris this week in week number 2. All right, we're going to get Redlands quarterback Cody Whitaker over in the hot seat in just a moment. So Javier's going to get our guy as we preview one more game before we get to the Redlands Terriers in the house here at D-Dog. So once again, thanks to D-Dogs here in downtown Riverside for hosting the HS Game Time Live Blitz Week 2 edition. So happy to be down here. The place is getting packed, watching games. We're having a great time. Now, maybe, and I use this term affectionately, the little big game, because featuring smaller schools but big implications. Linfield Christian taking on St. Margaret's this Friday.
Yeah, Linfield Christian, they're number 7 overall in the East Valley Division poll. St. Margaret's is number 3 overall. St. Margaret's has beaten Linfield last 2 years. This is a chance for Deshaun Birds and Linfield Christian to make a statement, have a good win under their belt early in the season, and take that as they move forward into league play.
Now, Linfield Christian has several players who potentially could be D1 college guys. I mean, this is a team that's ready to compete with a team like St. Margaret's, who traditionally is very tough in that East Valley division.
Absolutely. We'll see if they can do it, but there's definitely a chance for this to be a statement win for Linfield Christian.
All right, now joining us, it looks like he just came right off the beach, like he was surfing or something. It's Redlands High quarterback Cody Whitaker here on the Blitz. And Cody, 0-2. We're going to talk about this in just a second. There's a lot of teams right now in the inland area that are 0-2 that Kyle and I talked about. They shouldn't be 0-2 teams. Like, they're better than that record shows. I mean, do you feel like the Terriers are better than an 0-2 team?
Yeah, I would definitely agree.
I mean, what do you think are keys at moving forward to kind of get on that, kind of right the ship and get on a good track?
Just keep your head up. I mean, it's still preseason. We still have the leads to a league championship and then playoffs, and then later on, hopefully, state and CIF. But, it's early in the season. We put a new offense in. We had a lot of new guys switch around positions. I mean, I was hurt the first week I didn't play. We moved our center, Brett Landon, to right tackle, so we had to move our right tackle to center. So we have a bunch of guys learning new positions, and I think we're going to master it.
Is Brett Landon here? I'm sorry, is he over here? He didn't make the trip? Oh, my gosh. Okay, go ahead, Kyle.
Now, Cody, we talked about this a little bit. There's a lot of transfers, almost a dozen kids new to the program. Now you add in all those position changes. You add in just so much movement. How many weeks do you think it'll take before you guys can feel comfortable, I guess, in the new offense with all these new guys?
Throughout spring and summer, I mean, I felt super confident in our offense. Just getting into a live situation, getting hit and stuff, kind of shakes, rattles some guys, because last week was my first varsity start, and half the team started first varsity start. I mean, we have Zach, DJ, and Brett. That's our only returning starting guys on offense. So I mean, I think maybe a week or two, but there's still no excuses for the last 2 weeks that we played. We just got to pick it up.
Now, you guys played Carter tough. Now you got Los Osos, a team that's on the rise. Cody, talk about that matchup with the Los Osos. I'm going to go walk over here and check out some of your guys. But go ahead and answer that Los Osos game, which is tomorrow night. It's a Thursday night game.
Los Osos, good team. I've never played them, but from what I've heard, they're a very fundamental, sound team, very physical. It's going to be a tough game. We're away. First of our 5 away straight games, so hopefully we'll pull it out with a W.
Yeah, that is a very tough gauntlet. You have games Palm Desert, Palm Springs, 5 straight games on the road. How much is that going to test you guys?
I think it'll be a little better for us because I know playing at home I get a little more nervous because everyone in the Redlands is watching, especially on a Thursday game. But I think it'll be a little better for us, take the nerves off and let us focus on getting a win.
All right, we're going to pan over to Pep Fernandez with the Redlands offensive line real quick. Pep, go and take it away.
Great job, Javier. So you guys are the ones that protect Cody Whitaker over here. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm the center.
You're the center? Hey, can you guys scoot over just a little bit and get cozy? So you guys are 0-2, but we were just talking about that. I don't feel like you guys are an 0-2 team, that you're better than what that record says. I mean, what do you think about improving going forward and winning some games?
I think we have a real shot this week because we feel that we can get after Los Osos defense and we can make some stuff happen. So.
How about you? You got to scoot in just a little bit, as far as I can go.
Well, I think this week's practice went well. I think we stepped up a lot. I think we have a shot because we're going to bounce back from last week and do good.
Thursday night games? Do you like Thursday night game? Is it kind of weird? Messes up your schedule? Or, I mean, you guys okay with that?
It's a little weird. Practice is a lot shorter. We don't have as many practices, but it's different.
What's up with the neon yellow shirt? Is that something like you guys use for practice? Or?
Nah, player of the week get the shirt.
Oh, so you're the big man on campus this week. You're the player of the week?
Yeah, defensive player of the week.
We got the defensive player of the week live here at D-Dogs. Sean Lindsay's over here. Come here. Javier, follow me, man. Here we go. Sean Lindsay, come on, man. You're one of the star players for the Redlands High Terriers, and you want to be on here. So just talk about, you guys are 0-2, but do you feel like you're better than an 0-2 team and going to give Los Osos a pretty good game on Thursday night?
Yes, sir. I mean, to be completely honest with you, first week was a tough game. Rancho Cucamonga, no doubt, is a very good football team. They're returning a lot of stars, and I mean, last week we came out a little bit of a dud first half, and second half we really started to pull some things together, but it was too much too late, and it was a big deficit to come back from. Los Osos, again, talented as always. Everyone around in the IE is a very good football team, and I believe we have the ability to play with them as long as we come out very physical and very smart. So those are the things we're going to have to work on this week, and we worked hard in practice to make sure we came out and did everything right.
Now, you're a returning starter. You've been around the program. This was Cody's first varsity start last week against Carter. You feel like this is a team that, as the season goes on, you're going to get better because you're going to have more time together in like real game situations?
Yeah, completely. I mean, we're a very young football team. We have a lot of juniors starting, and I mean, with the transfers coming in, there's Marcus, Tracy Colley, Cody. Those are 3 of our key starters that, I mean, some of them it's their first varsity start. Getting some time in and some games and some knowledge is really going to help us pull together, and I think later on the season we'll play some very good football.
Awesome. Sean Lindsay breaking down Redlands as they prepare for Los Osos on a Thursday night special. Let's go back to Kyle, the big ticket KG, and Cody Whitaker, the quarterback for the Terriers.
Yeah, Cody, just wrapping up here, now that you've gotten your first start under your belt, seeing this team, now that they're all adjusting, what do you think this team is capable of moving forward?
I think we're capable of a lot. From the very beginning, we went to San Diego State tournament, passed the tournament, and we did very well. We finished 3rd. I think this team is a lot better how we've been playing. We got to fix the little stuff. That's our biggest thing. What Coach Walker talks to us, fix the little stuff, and the bigger things will come and play, and that's what we got to do.
Sounds good. All right, thank you so much for joining us, Cody, and
hey,
good luck
before
tomorrow.
Cody runs, I want to ask him one more hard-hitting question. Jim Walker's mustache, thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs up. I wish he could still have it.
Oh, he shaved it off?
He shaved it.
No.
Yeah.
Did he shave it before the season started?
Yeah, like 2 days after you interviewed us.
No.
I know.
You guys are 0-2. Tell Coach Walker, bring it back. I guarantee a win tomorrow against Los Osos if he brings back the mustache.
I definitely will.
Cody Whitaker, you're the man. Thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate it. Cody Whitaker, quarterback for the Redlands High Terriers, joining us here on the HS Game Time Live Blitz. We are live at D-Dogs in downtown Riverside. Kyle, this place is the best. Gourmet hot dogs, chicken sandwiches, burgers. It's like the happening place. All the cool people are hanging out here.
Good spot. That's why we're back.
I don't know if I'm cool. I don't know if I'm one of the cool guys that hang out here, but there are lots of cool.
So, I'll make it up for the both of us. Don't worry.
Well, at least one of us is cool enough to hang out at D-Dogs. I'm still working on it. All right. So we were talking about Redlands being 0-2, and we both feel like the Terriers are probably better than a typical 0-2 team. They've played two good teams out of the gates in Rancho Cucamonga and Carter. Let's talk about some of those other teams who have got off to rocky starts, but in the end, you feel like they're going to be a good team and right there in the mix for a playoff position. Let's start with Santiago.
I think Santiago, if you look at all the 0-2 teams in the inland area, is the team that most people would say, yeah, they're way better than that. They've played two very, very good teams to start the year, Hart and Mission Viejo. Thing is, Santiago, you'd like to have seen, I think, a better defensive performance out of them, giving up 50-plus points in both games. That's just not going to cut it, no matter who you're playing. I understand that both teams are loaded with Division I talent, two of the best programs around. That said, you have to do better. I would have liked to have seen them holding them to 35-38, not 55. So Santiago has work to do. They are better than 0-2, but they don't deserve to be 1-1 or 2-0 because they haven't played well enough to win those games.
But in the land of the Big 8, when you compete with teams like Centennial, you almost feel like, hey, we got to score like 40 or 50 points to compete, and maybe they're just kind of gearing up for that Big 8 showdown because we saw Roosevelt too. Roosevelt's piling up the points as well right now. So when you play in the Big 8 league, you got to have that offense.
Absolutely, and they've shown they have the offense, but the defense has to do better, or else they're still going to lose 50-40, 55-42. Santiago, the talent's there. They just have to click that defense into place.
All right, another team that's off to an 0-2 start, Temescal Canyon, and the Titans looking a little shaky in that 32-zip drubbing from Temecula Valley. Temescal Canyon plays in that Sun Belt League, which is tough, but they're always, competitive. Are they going to bounce back? I mean, 0-2 right now for the Titans.
It's hard to say. I mean, I think after a 21-10 loss to a good Marietta Valley team, it was like, okay, whatever, not a big deal.
Exactly.
Losing 32-0 to Temecula Valley, which is,
maybe the Golden Bears are better than what we think.
Maybe. That said, you can't play the reigning last place team in the Southwestern League and lose by 4 touchdowns and then expect to compete against Heritage, against Paloma Valley, against Elsinore, let alone all the other teams in the Central Division playoffs if you're going to get that far. Temescal Canyon of the 0-2 teams, I think, is the team that we need to see something more out of them. Santiago, we know they're good. Redlands, I'm sure they'll figure some stuff out once the pieces click into place. Temescal Canyon, we don't know anything. They still have to prove to us that they can compete in a very good Sun Belt League because right now they haven't shown anything that says, yes, we can.
All right, speaking of the 0-2 teams, we're wanting to see more from Temescal Canyon. We want to see defense from Santiago. But when we stop at Beaumont, the Cougars have a new head coach. The scores in their first couple games, not terribly impressive. I mean, is Beaumont going to bounce back, or is this kind of a rebuilding year out there for the Cougars?
This is a rebuilding year. When I did the Mountain Pass League preview, my biggest concern was they didn't return anyone on the line. 4 or 5 new stars, depending on how they were going to handle some of the rotations. Plus, you lose a guy like Joe Jeffers, who's a 1,900-yard rusher despite missing some games. You still have Sam Roberts. You still have Jacob Boulabari. I mean, there's some talented players there, but the core of the team is going to be on the line, and they just fall short. I picked them 4th in the league, but Hemet's got a better line than they do, and we'll see what West Valley can do. You combine the lack of experience with a new coach and a new system, trying to install a new offense in the triple option.
And he got there late in the game. It's not like he was hired when the season ended last year and he had all off-season to prepare this team. He got there, July? I mean, it was like middle of July when he actually took over and they started practice.
I think of all the 0-2 teams, if we're looking at the teams that have a playoff pedigree and look at all of them that are 0-2, I'd say Beaumont's probably the team in the worst shape. Now look, can they surprise? Sure. We mentioned that Ulibarri to Roberts connection is very dangerous, but the linemen have to step up. The running game needs to find some consistency without Jeffers. The defense needs to play better. A lot of things have to happen there, and I'm not sure it can all happen over the next 8 weeks.
And Beaumont will surely be tested on Friday when they're playing Heritage, the number 3 team right now in the HS Game Time top 10 rankings. I mean, the Patriots looked strong against North last week.
They're staring down the barrel of a gun of an 0-3 start, and then you get once again into Mountain Pass League play. Citrus Hill's better than they are. Talkwitz is better than they are. San Jacinto's better than they are.
And I believe the week after Heritage, next week, they got Banning, which is the battle for the wheel. That's a huge rivalry game. You can, as they say, throw out the numbers and the records when those two get together. So, I mean, this is a very tough start for Beaumont.
It is, and they really need to have a good performance against Heritage, because even if they lose but they play well, well. It'll give them some momentum going into Banning, and then as we move closer to league play. But if Heritage goes in and beats them, 45-10, which isn't out of the question, there's going to be some problems over there.
And let it be known, Kyle and I both love Beaumont. So let's not get that
it's
confused.
a beautiful stadium, but it's just, you have to, our job is to be objective journalists.
Yes.
Just objectively, there hasn't been anything out of Beaumont yet that makes you say, okay, they're 0-2.
But we're pulling for them.
Right.
We're pulling for them.
We want to see teams do well, but it's just, right now, we need to see more out of them before we can say, oh yeah, they're on the right track, because as of right now, they just haven't shown they are yet.
Run into a red-hot Heritage team on Friday. All right, so we've got some breakout players 3 weeks into the season, I guess you could say, technically 2, because week 0, week 1, now we're in week 2. A couple guys have been really standing out, piling up the stats either on the ground or through the air. And let's talk about some of these breakout players that maybe you haven't heard their name before, but I'm sure as we go deeper into the season, we're going to be talking about these guys a lot. Kyle, let's first start with the running back from Marietta Valley. And for Vinny Fazio, the running back is very important for that offense. Michael Robles off to a great start for the Nighthawks.
I mean, Michael Robles last year had 3 carries for 4 yards the entire season as a junior. So far, through 2 games as a senior, 37 carries, 315 yards, and a pair of touchdowns. I mean, he's averaging almost 10 yards a carry, really helping them sustain drives. He's provided some scoring as well, averaging a touchdown a game. And then his backup, too, has also been very, very good. The running game at Marietta Valley was complete unknown going into the year. Turned out, right now, looks like that's the strength of that offense. And Robles is a big reason why.
And if they're going to play defense and run the ball, they're going to be tough to beat. Okay, so if we're giving Marietta Valley some love, we got to also give Roosevelt some love, because that's a big game this Friday. And how about the Mustangs quarterback?
Joseph Mario last year was the starter, but he had 8 touchdown passes and 6 interceptions, completed less than 50% of his passes. Through 2 games this year, once again, against great teams, he already has 9 touchdowns. He's already has more touchdown passes than he did last year. He's completing passes at a 67% clip. Once again, Tustin and Charter Oak are not pushovers.
No.
If there's one guy who's been the biggest breakout of this year, it's him. And keep in mind, Summit's all-league quarterback, Jacob Jordan, transferred into Roosevelt. I think some people saw that and said, oh yeah, Jacob Jordan's going to be the guy.
Not a given thing, though, right? He had to earn it.
Not only held him off, he's excelled with Jordan there. So really, I think if there's one guy that's been the biggest breakout thus far, it is Joseph Muriel.
Man, those Roosevelt versus Santiago and Roosevelt Centennial games are going to get wild. They're going to be some high-scoring games. Okay, we are live at D-Dogs in downtown Riverside, and our guy behind the scenes, Javier Cabrera, is going to get the general manager for D-Dogs. Her name is Ariana Mate. She's going to join us in just a moment. But we have one more breakout player that we want to touch on, and it's another quarterback down at Marietta Mesa. Now, last year, Kyle, they had a guy named Chase Chambers. Great quarterback, great numbers. He had his favorite target, Khalil Sharp, and they were a great 1-2 punch. He got hurt, though, and the Rams kind of sputtered after that. But they got a guy named Peyton Ewell in there now. And talk about Ewell, because he is off to a great start for the Rams through the air attack.
Once again, a guy no one knew anything about, and he's been prolific. I mean, if you look statistically, he's been one of the best passers in the state. Once again, we're only 2 games in, so there's a lot of football to be played. Just a sophomore, though, Marietta Mesa, it looks like they have a quarterback who could be the best in the Southwestern League by this time next year, and that's a very promising building block to have for the Rams.
Yeah, because apparently Temecula Valley is on the rise, just based on that big win against Temescal County. I mean, the Southwestern League, you think of Vista Marietta, and they got better, and Vinny Fazio's at Marietta Valley. I just feel like the Southwestern League was already tough, and now it's just getting tougher across the board because all the teams are improving. All right, we're going to talk to Ariana Mate in just a moment, but first, let's play everyone's favorite Tell Me Why segment. We're going to answer a couple questions with Tell Me Why. And Kyle, go ahead. You know what? You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. We'll change it up a little bit.
Okay. All right, so this is the game where you say, tell me why. You get a question, and you have to defend it like you're a lawyer in court. You don't have to believe it. You don't even have to agree with it, but you have to make a case and tell me why you believe in what he's about to say. So this is the tell me why game. Go ahead, Kyle.
All right, Pep. Tell me why Santiago's tough non-league schedule might be trouble when it comes to making the playoffs.
Okay, KG, here's the deal, and we've talked about this a lot. Now, a tough non-league schedule, similar to what Redlands East Valley does, it's good because it gets you ready for a very tough league play. Now, the bad part is if you struggle through non-league and then you go to a tough league play, your record might not be good enough in the end to even get you into the postseason. So it could backfire. Now, if you go out and you knock off a couple of good teams, I mean, people are going to be looking at you probably in a different light as you head to the postseason. Like, wow, this team's a real contender. They could go all the way. But if you stumble through a lot of good teams and you get to league play, and let's say you lose one or two here or there, you could end up 5-5, 6-4, and maybe be on the bubble for the postseason. So fingers crossed for Santiago, who's 0-2 right now. They can knock off some of these teams before they hit Big 8 league play, because every game in the Big 8's a battle.
And the other thing is, sorry to steal your thunder a little bit too, but they've been doing this for a couple years. All they have to show for it in the last 4 years, 3 first-round playoff exits and 1 playoff-less year. So it's not like this tough non-league schedule they're facing every single year has paid dividends for them at all. So at a certain point, it's like, okay, this isn't working. It works for some teams, such as Rev.
Yeah.
Santiago hasn't been able to take advantage of it, and so you have to wonder if maybe they'd be better served taking it down a notch, going in, something like 8-2 into the playoffs or 7-3, have some confidence, be healthier because you're not getting beat up by the Mission Viejos of the world.
Well, just as an example, like Rev last season took its lumps in non-league. They got to the CBL and they just squeezed into the playoffs. I think they were like 6-4, maybe.
Well, they went 4-1 in league, but they were 5-5 overall.
Yeah, as heading into it, and I think they got knocked out by Norco in the first round. But it just goes to show, like, if you struggle through non-league and you get to league play, and if you play in a league like the Citrus Belt, the Southwestern League, the Sun Belt, I mean, none of those games are given, and you could end up 5-5 and hoping for an at-large bid at the end.
So
all right.
We'll see if they can change it up this year, but I'm a
Sharks can score.
They can
score some points. We know that. But they're 0-2 right now. But we're hoping for Jeff Steinberg and the crew to get that thing going. All right, Kyle. We were just talking about this. This is perfect. All right, Kyle, tell me why Rev will have a big playoff run this year and make the CIF title game in the Inland Division.
Well,
go ahead.
First and foremost, I don't know if you talk about the programs that are the best coached in the area. Rev has got to be up there right with Centennial, right with Vista Marietta. So that's, great coaching is half the battle, especially at the high school level. Then you add in the fact that the defense is always good. They looked very good again last week. There were a lot of returning pieces on defense. Obviously no Kylie Fitz, but they returned enough guys on defense that it wasn't a total surprise to see them hold Summit to 60 yards and didn't let them cross midfield. I don't think teams are going to score a lot on Rev all season. And then you have the offense. That was the biggest question mark, but Kurt Bruick, who knows what he's talking about, and I'm inclined to believe him, says he has the best offense he's had on campus since 2006. Keep in mind, in that time frame, they've had Christian Polk come through. They've had Ronnie Fouch come through. They've had D1 guys on offense, and he's saying this offense right now is better than the ones that have those guys. So let's see. Let's take a great coaching, a really good defense, and a crazy explosive offense.
Yeah.
That sounds like a team to me that's absolutely going to be...
And they can win at the line. They got the size up front.
Right. Yeah, when you look size-wise, you match them up just pure size. They match Centennial and Vista Marietta. So you take all those, get a break here or there. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason they can't make it to the division title game. They'll need some help, but is it some far-fetched, impossible fantasy? No.
What's interesting is if you look at a team like, let's just say Centennial, they score a lot of points. They like to play fast, up-tempo. You look at a team like Redlands East Valley, I'm sure they'd be happy to just grind out that clock, play some defense. I think last year against St. Bonnie was like an 18-7 game, and St. Bonnie is another team that likes to put up a lot of points. So it's just two contrasting styles. I always feel like the team that can play defense, control the clock, don't turn that ball over, is going to win. It's almost polar opposites when you talk about Centennial and Rev to a certain degree.
It's all about keeping an offense that good off the field. And one team that has the pieces and the coaching to keep a team like that off the field is Rev. And we'll see how they do against St. Bonnie's. But once again, last year, St. Bonnie's only scored 18 points on them after going up and putting up,
it was 40 against
Centennial.
Yeah.
So that defense can play. And I want to see how they do this year, because I think this game is going to tell us a lot about Rev and just what they're capable of. Not just in the Citrus Belt League. They've already proven what they can do there, but what they can possibly do in the postseason.
And I've got good news. We're going to get video highlights of Redlands East Valley taking on St. Bonaventure. So you have to check out the big Saturday show. Not the live show on Friday night, but we'll have the highlights for the Saturday show.
And by the way, they get Vista Marietta the week after this. So we're going to find out.
I'm excited for that one.
We're going to find out real fast how they compete with the best in the Southwestern League. They didn't do it so well last year, but it's a new year.
Yeah, last year I think that game was like on Fox Sports West, and Rev had to travel down there. They had a ton of injuries. It was just a snowball effect. It was just not a good situation for them. But now Vista Murrieta's coming up here. Rev's looking good, so we'll see what happens. All right, we got 2 more Tell Me Why questions. Kyle, go ahead. The Tell Me Why game. You can play at home as well.
Looks like they slipped through the cracks.
Here, this one's going to be. Let's see. This one's going to be yours. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull this out right now and set it right here.
Okay.
But I just want to show everyone we got the Riverside Poly helmet. We had head coach Dennis Brown and the guys on just a little bit earlier, so that's what we're pulling them out of. And we don't know what question we're getting. It's all blindfolded out of the helmet right now.
Pep, tell me why Temecula Valley will emerge as a playoff contender in a tough Southwestern league.
Now, I was talking to my boy, quarterback Kyle Plantier last night. Just gave him a call, chatting, just like bros do. And he said, Vista Murrieta, he's got a lot of friends over there. And they're like, Kyle, come over here. You can play with us. We're going to be great. But you know what? Kyle Plantier stayed at Temecula Valley. He's got confidence in his Golden Bears. After beating a very good Temescal Canyon team 32-0 last week, I believe in Kyle Plantier now that maybe Temecula Valley is on the rise. Now, granted, they play in that tough Southwestern League. They've got some tough games coming up. Like I know Tockwitz is around the corner. They've got to do well in non-league and at least go 500 in Southwestern League to get into a playoff spot. But I am a believer. I believe Kyle Plantier. I think they're going to do it. He's a great quarterback, even though he's going to UCSB, Santa Barbara, to play baseball. But he's still a great quarterback. He's stuck it out at Temecula Valley, and I believe in him and the Golden Bears.
All right.
Are you sold?
No.
No? Okay. Well, that's the beauty of this game. You don't have to be sold. Just tell me why. All right, one more for Kyle, the big ticket. All right, Kyle. Now, this one's kind of a loaded question because I think the obvious choice, everyone will be like, well, I know that. Tell me why Paloma Valley has the top offense in the inland area. Now, I know people are saying, well, Centennial, come on. But make a case right now why Paloma Valley, the Wildcats, have the top offense in the inland area. Go.
Well, you put up 60 points in back-to-back weeks, just as Centennial has, and you can absolutely deserve that. Centennial's had a couple of hiccups. I think they had a couple turnovers, a couple scoreless drives. So they have had some moments where they're just not gelling on offense, but they get the ball enough times to make something happen. Paloma Valley's been almost perfect. I don't think they have any turnovers. They're just, every drive they're going down and scoring. I think from an efficiency perspective and drives converted, I think Paloma Valley does have the highest touchdown to drive ratio in the inland area. Brett Boehm is as good a quarterback as you'll find in any division. I believe he could play in the Big 8, no problem. The Citrus Belt League, no problem.
Did you bring up their opponents, though?
I know who they
I just want to throw a wrench in,
I know who they
poke
play.
a hole in your theory.
But this group has shown they can score on teams that are better than who they've played so far.
That's fair.
So, if we're making a case that Paloma Valley is the best offense, I'll take that touchdown efficiency. When you go down and score a touchdown on every single drive, to me, that's what makes the best offense. Everything else is just for show. It's touchdowns on drives, period. That's it. And no one is doing that better than Paloma Valley is right now.
Let's put this in perspective. So Chris Erkley, one of our videographers at HS Game Time, went to Paloma Valley, got there at halftime of their game against Sultana. He's supposed to get second half highlights, right?
Yep.
Well, he got there. It was already 64-0. Paloma Valley was on top. I think they scored on their first 7 or 8 possessions, took the first string out. I mean, so that's how efficient they were in the first half. I'll be honest, I know nothing about Sultana, but obviously if you score 64
I know plenty
points,
about Sultana from my
that's
days
your
in the
neck of the
High
woods,
Desert.
right?
So from when I was in High Desert, look, they're not very good this year. They got a new coach, a lot of new guys, but even when you're playing not good teams, look at the other Rev had a couple scoreless drives against Summit. Just 1 or 2. You would think that at some point there'd be a drive that just wouldn't work. Paloma Valley's scoring every drive they get pretty much, and there's no other team that's really doing that.
And they get
Whereas done that over 2 games, I should say.
Yeah.
We've had some teams do over 1 game.
San Bernardino and then Sultana, and then
terrible teams, but they've been efficient. And right now, they've been the most productive offense from that touchdown to drive percent ratio in the Inland Empire.
And I'm not trying to shoot you down. I'm not trying to poke a hole in your theory because this is the beauty of the Tell Me Why game. But Centennial did play Liberty, one of the top teams from Nevada, and then St. Bonaventure.
Right, if we're stepping away from Tell Me Why for a second, okay, yeah, it does. Centennial's a better offense, but
this is the game.
For purposes of the game,
Paloma Valley, now.
I would say, don't discount what they've done just because the opponents haven't been great. This is a good offense, period.
All right, we'll see what what they do against Gordon Wood and the West Valley Mustangs on Friday. Javier, if you want to bring the general manager of D-Dogs on, Ariana Mate. And it looks like the dinner crowd is filing in, watching some sports on the old television set. Come on, Ariana.
Hey, Ariana.
Don't be shy. We don't bite. Well, I don't bite.
Not shy.
How are you doing?
Fantastic. How are you?
Well, thank you for having us back. First off, we appreciate it.
Oh no, thank you for coming. It's exciting to see you guys back. And last time we celebrated your birthday.
We did,
awesome.
didn't we?
So
how old was he? Do you remember?
35.
Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah, that's right.
He's still young.
He's 25.
It's all right. You're old. I'm older than you, so it's okay.
So we brought the football crowd in for you a little bit earlier. We had some players from Riverside Poly and Redlands High School in here.
Very cool.
We're helping you make this the cool high school football crowd as well. You got the NFL crowd, right, in the college
we do.
football?
Oh my gosh, Sunday was fantastic.
Was it?
We piled the place because we got breakfast. So by 9:05, the place was busy.
Wait, hold on.
It was awesome.
You serve breakfast as well?
We serve breakfast.
So you have the best hot dogs, hamburgers, and chicken sandwiches, and you serve breakfast.
And the best breakfast, hands down guaranteed.
So what's on the breakfast menu?
Oh, on the breakfast menu.
Because Kyle usually eats like Lucky Charms, but you got to give Honey Nut Cheerios.
That's my jam. That's my jam. Honey Nut Cheerios.
So what would Kyle get on a Sunday morning here, watching NFL and eating a great breakfast?
Oh, Kyle can come and get one of our awesome breakfast sausages and or one of our regular sausages we have with eggs. Imagine coming in with a bowl of breakfast potatoes, over medium eggs, and chorizo chili just piled on top with jalapenos. Is that not the best breakfast ever?
Delicious.
You can't beat that.
And filling.
You cannot beat that. And it's for all under $10 with a beer.
Now,
How do you beat that?
The people that come in here, is it like a heavy 49ers crowd, Chargers crowd, Raiders crowd?
It just depends who we have on. Monday night, Chargers were on there, right?
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
Monday night we had all the Charger fans, and it was cool because
so they were
got
probably
a little
all
rowdy.
excited and screaming in the beginning.
They were, and that was fun.
Yeah.
And towards the end, they lost, right?
Yeah, they did on a last-second field goal. Yeah.
They started walking
It was
away.
bad.
But no, it's cool because what we saw, a lot of families, the little kids with the jerseys on.
Oh, really?
And that was so awesome. They had the little footballs in hand. And, they were ready. They were ready to go play. So it was really cool to see that. And again, Sunday was phenomenal from 9 in the morning till about 6, 7 o'clock at night. It was just nonstop, and we're super excited.
And Saturday as well. Because college football is obviously now.
Because of the college, it's picking up. It definitely is picking up. So, and we had every game playing on Saturday. We had every game playing.
That's like a dream come true. That's like heaven to me. Great food and like every single game on.
It is. It's funny because people are walking in. Okay, where's the Kansas City Chiefs? Okay, go sit there. Or where's this game? Okay, go sit there. So we're like telling people where to sit because we're putting them right next to their location of what they want to watch. The crazy part was we would change the volume, so we would have the main game on.
What was the main game? Do you remember?
Who was playing Sunday? The
49ers Packers?
The 49ers.
Yeah.
And somebody by accident switched it. I had a lot of angry 49ers in here. But we got it fixed. It was awesome.
Straighten that out, huh?
Oh, yeah. So it was really cool. And we have the main games playing at all times. And what we've been telling people, first come, first serve. You sit down. You want to pick a game? We'll have the TV located for you.
I want that big one right here. Hey, Javier, can you pan over to that television over here? So if I come in on Sunday and my 49ers are on, I can say, Ariana, I need. Oh, in fact, they're on right now. 49ers and Packers.
How many inches is that screen?
Let's take a wild guess. I'm going to say 100. I would say pushing 200.
Probably.
You're not a TV expert?
No, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I thought Kyle is. All right, so do you have an NFL team?
Heck yes.
Who is it?
Don't laugh at me, but it's the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, wow.
Don't look at me like that.
That's good.
No, look, last year we won like 2 or 3 games. This year we're hoping to 4
and now
or
you
5.
got Alex Smith.
Yay!
Yay!
So, you know what? We're hoping. They were a baby team. They're growing. But it's sad because I think I'm the only Kansas City Chiefs fan. But I'm okay with that.
Actually, you want to hear a cool story? Kyle, why don't you tell her the Alex Smith connection to the inland area? The Gordon
6
Wood.
degrees of separation.
It's a stretch, but it's a local connection in a weird kind of way.
Alex Smith grew up and played football in San Diego, and his high school coach is currently the coach of a team now in Hemet. Gordon Wood over at West Valley. So
He also coached Reggie Bush.
So a little 6 degrees of separation.
Kind of like the whole Kevin Bacon thing, but we played with Alex Smith.
Very nice. See, look, it's like family then.
Yeah. You went to Redlands High School, right?
I did. Go Terriers.
Yeah, we had the Terriers in here earlier. Were you excited about that?
I was. Class of 02. It just doesn't get better than that. I don't care what you say. It just doesn't. So yeah, it was fun. It was really good.
You gonna go to the Smudge Pot game, the big game against Redlands East Valley? That's the big one.
I know.
Yeah.
Homecoming's coming up.
Yeah, I think it's against Miller. My wife's gonna cheer in
Let
that.
me express to you how Miller. Redlands, don't let me down.
No,
Let's put it that way.
They won't. They're 0-2 right now. But we just heard from the guys not too long ago. They're determined, right, Kyle, to turn this thing around and win some games.
Yeah, no, they're confident. They're hoping now the new pieces can gel. So we'll see how the rest of the year plays out for them.
All right, the general manager for D-Dogs here in downtown Riverside, Ariana Matei. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, guys. And
always a gracious
please
host.
Come down. I will take care of you guys. To all the college kids out there, we're putting it out there. Show your student ID, and you'll get an awesome 15% off on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So we want them in. We want the college kids in. We want the high school kids in, and we want to support them as much as we possibly can.
And come in early, and you get to pick the game on TV. So that's also
breakfast.
And breakfast. Yeah, if you come in actually in the morning, Saturday and Sunday, come in, watch football on every single TV. I could probably try to count them right now, but it would take too long. Yeah, it would take too long. But they've got all the games on here. 14.
There we go.
And the big one. Well, we're going to get Ariana a tape measure, and she's going to go measure that right now, right? And get on a ladder and maybe hang from something and measure it all up. But it's huge. It's a huge TV.
Awesome.
Thank you, Ariana.
All right. Thank you, Ariana. We appreciate it. All right, Kyle, I'm going to put you on the spot because we did this the first time in week 0. We had our D-Dog Top Dog Performer of the Week. I forget who I picked. I think I picked Billy Gustus in BG3.
You did.
Which turned, I mean, it wasn't a huge, go out on a limb because they're playing Chafee, but it worked out in my favor. All right, so if there was a guy out there that you're expecting to have a big game either tomorrow night or Friday night in week number 2, who would your D-Dog Top Dog be?
I'm going to go with Vista Marietta. I'm going with Colton Gerhardt. He came in last week.
That's a real stretch.
5 touchdowns. The thing is, but hey, I've tried to go out on a limb the previous 2 weeks. Now I'm taking a guy who I think is going to have a really big game. Once again, he had 4 rushing touchdowns and a passing touchdown. Keyshawn Holmes coming back, who could also have a big game. We're going to see the Vista Marietta offense firing on all cylinders. Ukaipa is a good opponent, but Vista Marietta, we talked about, they're just, kind of above and beyond a lot of the other teams in the area right now. I think Colton Gerhardt's going to have a chance to throw it a little more than he did in the first game, and he'll have a big night.
Against Ukaipa. All right. My D-Dog Top Dog, I think I'm going to go with Lafayette Waters. Now, he's a defensive back for Marietta Valley. We talked about how great Joseph Muriel has been at Roosevelt, and they've got an air attack for the Mustangs. So I think the secondary for Marietta Valley will be very key when they play Roosevelt on Friday and stopping that high-scoring Roosevelt offense at this point. So I'm going to go with Lafayette Waters. He's also a great special teams guy, returns kicks.
Great name, too.
Lafayette Waters,
That's a great
I wonder
one.
if there's any relation to the old Ricky Waters. Are you too young for that?
No.
Ricky Waters from the 49ers.
And Seahawks.
Little bit.
I remember him more from the Seahawks.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Man, you're young. I thought you were 35 now. But I'm going with Lafayette Waters. I think he's going to have a big game. Or actually, I think Marietta Valley needs him to have a big game because, as we saw so far, Roosevelt can really fling that rock around and put some points on the board for head coach Tony Brill. So we're very excited about that big game. Are you going to that Roosevelt Marietta Valley game, or you're somewhere else, right?
I've got Ukaipa Vista. That's what I'll be out Friday, and Thursday I'm seeing Citrus Hill and Arlington. So be sure and read my stories, folks.
All right, so a very special thank you to head coach Dennis Brown from Riverside Poly, and he brought a couple of the guys down as well, and also the Redlands High School Terriers. It was Sean Lindsay, the running back and linebacker, the quarterback, Cody Whitaker, who looks like a beach bum, right? I mean, it looks like he was just surfing and just flew in here.
He's got the California thing down.
He definitely does, and he also brought some of his linemen in here as well. We had the guy wearing the neon yellow practice shirt. He said he was the defensive player of the week for Redlands. You get to wear that around campus and be like the big man around school for a week. So
nice little perk.
Yeah, so Redlands 0-2, looking to bounce back against Los Osos on a Thursday night special. I'll be there. We'll have highlights from all the Thursday night games and a Thursday night football final. And on Friday night, you'll join me right on HS Game Time Live. We're going to crank up the live this Friday. We promise we're going to get it going. And we'll have a lot of great highlights, including your game and the big one, Roosevelt taking on Marietta Valley. All right, big thanks to D-Dogs, right? What are you going to get right now?
I haven't decided yet. I'll think about it.
Go for the, I always go the Coney dog.
Okay.
I'm a creature of habit, though. I always get the same thing.
I'm going to take a look at the menu and make a different choice.
Get something exotic, all right? For me, because I won't do it. I always go with the tried and true.
Sounds good.
Thank you to D-Dogs. We are live in downtown Riverside. This place is the best. If you want sports and great food, this is the place. For Kyle Glazer, I'm Pep Fernandez. We'll see you again next Wednesday on the HS Game Time Live Blitz.